Welcome to the North Alabama Real Estate Market Report for April 2024. But before we jump into that, make sure you hit subscribe below to stay on top of all of the latest Huntsville, Alabama real estate news. So let's first dive into the first three main submarkets in the North Alabama area. The first one being Huntsville. The average sales price is up $12,000 year over year, $375,000 this time last year. We're almost to $400,000 at $387,000. We've also had a slight decrease in terms of the homes sold, 586 homes sold this April versus 618 last year. We've also had a huge influx of homes on the market. 1,973 homes went active in April in the Huntsville market versus 1,382 this time last year. That's a 42.7% increase. And I've been saying this for a couple of months now. I think a lot of people are just literally fed up waiting on the Fed to lower interest rates, and so they are ready to move on with their lives here in Huntsville, and there are more homes going available active in the Huntsville market. All right, let's jump into Athens. Athens has been really the main story in terms of price appreciation and growth of all the different submarkets of North Alabama, where Athens is pushing close to what the Huntsville prices are doing, which really shows the strength of that local Athens economy, what they're doing with their schools, doing with the businesses and restaurants developing around the area. Of course, the Buc-ee's effect as well. Average sales price was actually down, however, year over year, $3,000. 367 to 364. We'll see if that trend continues. It likely is going to probably mirror closely to what Huntsville does kind of going forward. There was fewer homes sold in Athens as well, so another trend to watch. 198 homes sold this time last year versus 172 this April. Also a huge influx in terms of homes on the market. 777 homes versus 524. That's a 48.3% increase in homes on the market. Still really don't have enough homes available in Huntsville or Athens. We're still kind of to that 2019 pre-pandemic levels, which is really about half of the inventory that we typically have in these areas. So we're not where we want to be, but we're definitely increasing, and a lot of people, again, just kind of fed up with waiting on the Fed to lower interest rates. Decatur really had a banner month with both the average sales price going up $27,000 from $273 up to $300,000 as homes become less affordable in Huntsville and Athens markets. So people are, a lot of people are flocking to affordability, and they're finding that affordability in the Decatur market. There's also 149 homes sold versus 127 sold this time last year. So they actually had an increase in terms of homes sold, which makes sense. Fewer homes sold in Athens and Huntsville, more homes sold in Decatur because that's where affordability is at this point. Also, a lot of potential sellers looking at taking advantage of that increased demand. A 91% increase on homes on the market, 310 versus 167. So we'll see how that affects prices moving forward in the Decatur area. If the demand continues to stay high, they'll probably be able to weather it. Otherwise, you might see some slight price decreases with that much additional demand entering into Decatur. All right, again, one of the big headlines is new listings. So up across the entire North Alabama, we are 627 new listings in April of 2024 versus 1,243 this time last year, a 30.9% increase. Again, people being fed up with the Fed, moving on with their lives, diapers, diplomas, job relocations, whatever it may be, people are deciding to list and not wait for potential Fed interest rate drops. Pending sales were also up 1,240 versus 1,129, a 9.8% increase. So sales had actually been down for the first quarter. We were down about 1.5% year over year. Closed sales are now pretty much flat, 1,079 versus 1,077. So a strong April got us back flat. So it looks like we may actually start to increase from 2023 with the rate of sales and all the pendings that we have. So look to see potentially now a slightly better year, as a lot of people are now just no longer on the sidelines, forgetting about what the Fed's going to do and moving on with their lives. With all these new listings, days on market has increased from 41 days to 50 days. Still a very low number of our market. We've seen 100 days on market as more of like an average over the last decade. So 50 is still a low number. Average sales price across the entire North Alabama area is actually up 4.4% $339 and some change to $354 and some change. So it's kind of mirroring now closer to inflation. We don't have that crazy price increases that we had over the COVID years where we had all that deficit spending and inflation. So now with inflation starting to come down, average sales prices across North Alabama is more mirroring inflation, which is more of a healthy thing for our market. So if you're a buyer, you might be looking at this stat. What are sellers getting in terms of percent of list price? That has relatively been flat year over year, 98.3% to 98.2%. Normally more of like a balanced market, what we like to see is a 97% number. You know, that gives enough room for sellers typically to pay closing costs, a little bit of negotiations there. So there has been a lot more negotiations than there were in the COVID years, but not as much as you see in a normal market. And unfortunately, housing affordability continues to go down or really stay down this year. This time last year, we were at a score of 100. We are now at a score of 91. So that basically means the median household income can no longer afford the median price range home in our area. 100 score is that average number. We're below that at 91, and we're well below what we were pre-pandemic and a few years back where we were hitting scores of 180 and above. So even with affordability being down, we are still more affordable than a lot of the comparison markets. So still a lot of buyers looking to flock to our area because we are still close to that 100 score level. Supply is actually up as well, 2.4 months with up to 3.3 months with all that new inventory coming available on the market. Shockingly, with all that inventory coming available on the market, we are still not in a buyer's market. We are not even still in technically a balanced market yet. A balanced market is 4 to 6 months. We are south of that at 3.3 months. So technically we are in a seller's market, which is why you're seeing that 98.3% in terms of list to sales ratio as well. Across the board, inventory is at 37.5%, 2,520 active listings this time last year. We're up over 3,000 now, 3,332, which is still about half of what we've seen in decades past. One of the big headlines is that we've had the highest number of new listings in the last 12 months. Again, a lot of people just tired of sitting on the sidelines, waiting on the Fed and moving on with our lives. That really translates to a 30.9% increase since April 2023, and then a 13.9% year-to-date increase in new listings. However, we are down from 2022. It's an 8.5% decrease from 2022. So still not where we were in years back. Closed sales are also flat year over year, both April and year to date. We're down 23.4%, however, from 2022. So closed sales are staying flat year to date now, which is actually better, a good sign because we were down about 1.5% after Q1. So we are actually trending in the positive direction in terms of sales, but nowhere near what we were in 2022. And it looks like we're going to be probably low 4 million range nationwide, which is what we were in 2023, versus 2021 where we saw about 6 million homes sold. So still significantly down from the height and really what the average is, not only for our market, but across the US. Another one of the big headlines is days on market continue to trend up. However, we're still way below historical ranges for the pre-COVID years in Huntsville. So basically what this means is if you sold a home a decade ago, it's going to be, actually your home's going to sell probably quicker than homes sold a decade ago. However, if you sold your last home a couple years ago during COVID, then this is going to feel like an eternity to sell your home. The average sales price also continues to increase in the area at more normal ranges and really kind of mirroring inflation. We're up 4.4% year over year versus last April, and we're already up 2.5% year to date, which is more in line with inflation, really more in line with normal appreciation rates. So that's more of a healthy market, especially considering affordability where it's at. We want to get more to normal appreciation to kind of help keep affordability not going down any more than it is. So with that, housing affordability, of course, has been an issue. It's not nearly an issue like it is in a lot of cities, but we are below 100. We're at 91 April 2024 versus 180 plus numbers, which we saw prior to COVID. So inventory wise, we are back to pre-COVID numbers, but we're about half of what we saw in kind of the 2015, 2016 era. So if you have questions about interpreting this data for your particular situation, whether you're looking to sell or buy in this market, feel free to give us a call. We're happy to give you a free consultation, walk through this with you to help you make the most informed decision for you.